Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talking Ball podcast. This is episode number 27. I'm your host, Chase. Welcome to number 27. No football this week. We will have some news that has to do with football. But there was no NFL games. As we know, the Super Bowl is going to be played this Sunday. As I speak, this coming Sunday on the 7th. Chiefs, Chiefs Bucks. I'll talk about a little bit about it, depending on time. How long it takes to get through these NBA games. I didn't do it on the PowerPoint as I said last time. I'm gonna do more of like a recap of each day, and then kind of like go in about kind of what happened on that day if there was any breakout games, but. Right, we're going to hit all the NBA games from this week. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA and how it's been shaping up so far. About 20, 25 games in the season for most teams. Then we'll have news, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, and we'll be on our way. And then next week we will have the Super Bowl podcast. I don't know what I'm going to do. Kind of want to do something special for the Super Bowl. Maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. Download on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, whatever you got to do. But yeah, like and subscribe on the YouTube helps me out. It's free, but it takes 2 seconds and just helps me out a ton. So thank you guys, and let's get into it. All right, so for basketball, NBA games, we're going to start from day of last podcast, Tuesday, the 26th. We're only 3 games. The Hawks take down the Clippers. The Rockets beat the Wizards, and the Jazz beat the Knicks. Trae Young scored 38 on the Clippers. So he was the leading scorer of the week. John Wall had 24, and then Royce O'Neal was the leading scorer for the Jazz. With 20 points, and this was one of their wins on their 10-game win streak. The Jazz, they are actually currently first in the West. So, they're second in the West behind the Clippers. But yeah, they were on a 10-game win streak until they lost their most recent game, but. Yeah, Jazz are doing pretty well. Those are the only 3 games on the Tuesday, but the next day on the Wednesday, we had a good slate of games here. The Pacers take down the Hornets by 10 off of 28 points from Doug McDermott off the bench. Doug McBuckets, baby. He shot like 12 for 20, like 3 for 5 from 3. Pretty good. The Cavs beat the Pistons. Colin Sexton had 29 points, shot 10 for 14. Real efficient. He needs to get his update in 2K because he's a dog, and he's an 83 in 2K. He should be like an 86, 87 at least. The Kings take down the Magic from off 29 points from Buddy Hield, shooting 7 for 12 from the 3. The Nets beat the Hawks by 4 off of 32 points from Kevin Durant, who shot 50%, and James Harden had 31 points and 15 assists. The Nuggets beat the Heat by 27. By 27 off of 21 and 11 from Jokic. The Sixers beat the Lakers by 28 points from Joel Embiid, and LeBron had 34 for the Lakers. The Bucks beat the Raptors off of 24 points, 18 rebounds from Giannis. The Spurs beat the Celtics by 4 from 21 from DeRozan. The Pelicans beat the Wizards. Brandon Ingram and Zion each had 32 points, and Bradley Beal had 47 for the Wizards. The Thunder beat the Suns by 5. Al Horford had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also had 21 points. And Chris Paul had 32 for the Suns. The Jazz beat the Mavericks by 12 off of 29 points and 20 rebounds from Rudy Gobert. And Jordan Clarkson off the bench had 32, while Luka had 30 for the Mavs. He had 30 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, so almost triple-double. Couldn't get the win, though. And the Warriors beat the Timberwolves by 12 off of 25 points from James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards also scored 25 points for the Timberwolves. So good games there. 29 and 20 from Gobert is pretty good. He usually averages like 11 points a game, something like that. Giannis, 24 and 18, pretty good. The duo, Kevin Durant, James Harden, put up 63 combined. So that's pretty good for them. Colin Sexton, like I said, and Buddy Hield both went off for 29. Jordan Clarkson, as I mentioned, 32 off the bench. He's a really good scorer for them off the bench. And he's a big reason why they've been winning so many games. He probably averages like 20 at least off the bench. Let me see here. Let's see how much Jordan Clarkson averages. Jordan Clarkson, 18 points off the bench, which is super good. And he's shooting really well, about 38% from 3, 46% from the field. So Jordan Clarkson's really, making a difference off the bench for these guys. Let me see. His game logs. Where's points in the end rate? You know, 15, 23, 26, 23, 21, 31. Oh, he had 31. 31. I swear he had 32. What? Yeah, huh. Yeah, they update box scores every day, so obviously when I read the box score it said 32, because I wrote down 32. Anyways, yeah, good games all around there. Thursday, the 28th, had 4 games, but some pretty decent ones. The Rockets beat the Blazers by 3, off of 25 points from Oladipo. I think John Wall had 20, 22, something like that. And Dame had 30 for the Blazers. The Pistons take down the Lakers by 15, which is crazy to see. They did not have Anthony Davis. They did have LeBron. He struggled. And Blake Griffin led the way in scoring with 23 for the Pistons. The Clippers beat the Heat by 4 without Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. Granted, the Heat did not have Jimmy Butler, but Nicholas Batum was the Clippers' leading scorer with 18 points, and he went 6 for 9 from 3. So not bad. Everybody seems to hate on Batum. He definitely wasn't worth the money Charlotte gave him. 20-some million, 30 million, whatever it was. But he's not a bad basketball player. He's averaging about 10 right now for the Clippers. So it's not bad. He obviously struggled as of late. Last year 3.6. But I mean, his third year in Charlotte, fourth year in Charlotte. When Charlotte signed him, he only averaged 9. The year prior being signed to the Hornets in 71 games with the Blazers. But before that, he was, second year in the league, he averaged 10, then 12, then 14, 14, 13, then 10. He signed with Charlotte, averaged 15 for 2 years in a row. You average 15. You average 15, right? But it's $27 million. worth 15 points a game. That's over $1 million a point. But and then he declined though. You know, his first and second years he averaged 15, but then he went down to 12, and then he was at 9. And last year he averaged 3. Granted, he only played 22 games, and I only played 22 games. But $27 million is a lot of money for averaging best 15 points on a very bad team, lottery team every year. So he's doing well this season so far. He's averaging 10, about 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting well. He's definitely an above average shooter. He's shooting, where is it at? 45% from the 3 and 48% from the field. You know, he averages about 7 shots a game and about 2 threes. 5 threes. Oh, wow. Batum's yeeting those threes. But hey, he's making them at a very decent rate at 45%. Anyways. Yeah, not worth $37 million. Or $27 million. Let's be real. But good player. By all means. I mean, he's getting older for sure. He's 32. But definitely, good defender, can score, can shoot. He's definitely worth a decent contract. I mean, a role player, $10 million, $8 million, somewhere around there. 27 though. I don't know about that. Anyways, yeah. So good game for him, leading the team to a win. The Suns beat the Warriors without Devin Booker, where Mikal Bridges had to step up, and he did, and scored 20 points for him. This was a good little breakout game there for Mikal. Friday, full games, tons of games going on. Wait, that cannot be right. Yeah, that's definitely not right. I forgot to put where Saturday was. I have Friday, all these games, and then I see the Hornets twice. I was like, the Hornets did not play. There's no way the Hornets played 2 games in one day. That's gotta be illegal. So Blazers Bulls was the first game on Saturday. So Saturday 1-30. Okay. Anyways, Friday had a decent game, a decent amount of games now. Hornets Pacers. Hornets beat the Pacers by 3 off of 19 from Rozier and PJ Washington. The Hawks beat the Wizards by 16 off of 41 points from Trae Young. The Knicks demolished the Cavs by 21 off of 24 points from RJ Barrett and 25 points from Emmanuel Quickley off the bench in 25 minutes. Emmanuel Quickley's been really nice for the Knicks off the bench this year so far. I'm going to get game log. Let's get a game log for him. But yeah, freaking 25 points in 25 minutes. He scored. He's having 12.5 right now, which is good. Just game log here. Boop. All right. So once he started getting minutes, he scored 16. 19, 23, 17, 31, and 25. 31 against Sacramento on the 22nd. So I didn't report on that one. I was like, why didn't I put him in there? But it's on the 22nd. But yeah, he scored, 31, 25. He's doing really well. He just started getting minutes We're on the 13th. You know, he showed on the 4th that he could score. Played 18 minutes in that one. He's averaging about... I mean, this one he got 30 minutes. He scored 21 points. I don't know if he started. Did he start? I don't know how to see if he started or not. Anyways. But yeah. Manuel quickly. Slowly climbing the rookie ladder for Rookie of the Year considerations. But I mean, right now, LaMelo still averaging 12.5, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, so he's doing really well. Wiseman is averaging 11, 6, and 1.5 blocks. Tyrese Halliburton, 12, 5 assists. Anthony Edwards is averaging 14, 3 and 2. Patrick Williams got 10, averaging 4 rebounds. Wow, when was this written? Sadiq Bey's averaging 11. It's not even bad. But didn't he have Dia? He's averaging 7. When was this written? Oh, January 13th. I was like, bro, where is Emmanuel quickly? Because Emmanuel Quickly's averaging more, well, besides Anthony Edwards, is averaging more points than anybody. He's about 4th in assists. So not bad. Yeah. I don't know when that, or why that was so. I got this few points. I'll talk about that in a minute. I found something very interesting when just looking around just random NBA stats. I'll share that in a bit. But anyways, Emmanuel Quickly on the map. Put him in your brain. Remember the name, IQ, Emmanuel Quickly. He's going to be special. Moving on, Kings beat the Raptors by 2. Harrison Barnes scores 26, while Pascal Siakam scored 32 for the Raptors. In the loss, the Pelicans beat the Bucks by 5. Brandon Ingram had 28, and Lonzo Ball had a breakout game, 27 points, 7 for 11 from 3. Giannis did what he could, scored 38, 11 rebounds, but could not get the dub. Clippers destroy the Magic. Paul George had 26, and Kawhi had 24, so they combined for 50. Quick math. The 76ers destroy the Timberwolves off of 37 and 11 for Joel Embiid. The Nets beat the Thunder by 22 and put up 147 with no Kevin Durant, but Kyrie and James Harden each scored 25 points, and James Harden had a triple-double. The Spurs beat the Nuggets by 10. DeRozan had 30 points, 10 assists, and Jokic had 35 points and 10 rebounds for the Nuggets in the loss. The Jazz continue their win streak here as they beat the Mavericks again by 19. They did not have Donovan Mitchell in this one, but Bojan Bogdanovic had 32 points and shot 7 for 11 from the 3. So Bojan put the team on his back in that one. Are one of 2 insane games. Blazers Bulls. Damian Lillard had 44 points and shot 8 for 17 from 3, and also hit the buzzer beater to win the game. Lauri Markkanen had 31 points, shot 6 for 11 for the Bulls from 3. But the Blazers were down by 5 points with 10 seconds left. They hit a shot. I can't remember who hit the shot, but they hit a shot. They tie up the inbound pass, so they get a jump ball on the inbound pass. Gary Trent versus Zach LaVine. And Gary Trent wins it, gets it out to Dame, who hits the buzzer beater game-winning 3. And the Bulls lose after being up by 5 with 10 seconds left. We have another game similar in a bit, but that is our first insane game. teams. I saw a thing. It was like teams are like 9-23 or something like that when trailing by 5 within 10 seconds, and 2 of the wins came in back-to-back days, the 30th and the 31st. I believe, yeah, 30th and the 31st. So that's crazy. The Hornets beat the Bucks by 12 off of 27 from Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball. They each had 27. And Giannis, again, did what he could, but 34 and 18 for him. Could not get it done. The Rockets beat the Pelicans by 14 off of 27 from Christian Wood. The Heat beat the Kings by 1. In Jimmy Butler's return, he scored 30 points, and De'Aaron Fox also scored 30 points. The Lakers beat the Celtics by 1. Anthony Davis had 27 and 14. Celtics couldn't stop him. I watched this game. It was on TV. He couldn't be stopped. Every rebound he wanted, he got, and every second chance points he wanted, he got. He got to the free throw line a ton, and we just couldn't handle him. And Jason Tatum had 30 points for the Celtics. The Grizzlies beat the Spurs by 17. And there's two games from the Grizzlies that nobody, besides D'Anthony Melton in this one, nobody scored 20 points. But 7 players in this game, 7 players had 14 or more points. That 14 was the lowest in double figures, so I did 14 plus. But 7 players scored 14 plus. 7 players in double figures, including D'Anthony Melton, who had 20 off the bench, and Ja Morant had 19 and 11 assists. The Suns beat the Mavericks by 6. Man, the Mavericks are struggling. That's like 3 or 4 in a row for them. Off of 29 points and 12 assists from Chris Paul. And the Warriors beat the Pistons off of 28 points, 6 for 8 from 3 from the three-point god, Chef Curry himself. So there's some big games on Friday and Saturday. Some notable ones, some notable performances I'd like to point out. Joel Embiid still continuing his MVP tear with that 37 right there. He's been unstoppable. He's been unstoppable. He probably has one of the best splits in the game right now. If I had to guess, him and Giannis are probably quite close to each other. But right now, he's averaging 28 and 11, shooting 54% from the field and 40% from 3, while Giannis averaging 27 and 11 with 6 assists, shooting 56% and 28 from 3, shooting very badly from the free throw line at 59%, while Joel hits 84% of his free throws. Oh, excuse me. Giannis is also averaging a steal and a block a game, while Joel is averaging about the same 1.2, 1.3, while Giannis was 1.1, 1.1. Sorry, I got the hiccups, I guess, or something. All right. But yeah, Joel Embiid, 4th in scoring, up there in rebounds. He averages 11. Yeah. Joel Embiid's doing very great this year. Giannis, I think KD maybe has a shot at that MVP. He's averaging 31, playing really well on this Nets team. So I think KD might have a shot at it. Damian Lillard, CJ went out with an injury, and so did Nurkic. So if Damian Lillard can step up and keep winning games for the Blazers and, scoring 40, 30 a game, then he could be in MVP conversations. I think Steph Curry is having a great comeback season. I think he could be considered. And yeah, now don't get me wrong. I love Bradley Beal. I just don't think he can win MVP. And you know what? Something is crazy. I saw, and yeah, I guess it's being brought up by myself. So, All-Star voting, right, is coming out. I posted my All-Star votes on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at TalkingBall. On Twitter, same profile picture. But yeah, I posted my All-Stars. And I went, and somebody else posted their All-Stars. I went in the comments, and somebody was saying that Bradley Beal doesn't even deserve to be an All-Star, let alone a starter, which I put him at a starter. I think he deserves to be a starter. The All-Star game should be, if it's not, about individual performance. It should have nothing to do with your team's record. I don't care how many games Bradley Beal has won. He is the best basketball player right now. Like, in terms of being a basketball player, he's scoring 35 points a game, hitting 7-8 threes a game, leading this team to 2 3-point losses, and insane comeback victories against the best team in the league. He is an all-star. He deserved to be an all-star last year. He deserves to be an all-star this year, if not a starter. MVPs, yes. You take in the team aspect, because that's more of a, most valuable player. If you take Bradley Beal off the Wizards, they win 2 games instead of 4. Not that valuable, right, to their team, just because they suck. So he's not going to win MVP, even though, he's going crazy. But All-Star, if you're going to deny a guy an All-Star game because their team is bad, then you don't deserve... I don't think you should be in the sports world, because that's just not even fair. That's not even fair. There are 2 good players on that team. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Russell Westbrook has been struggling. He played a decent game the last couple days. But it's just Beal, man. Thomas Bryant goes down with the injury, out for season. He was their 3rd best player. Who's their 3rd best player now? Troy Brown? Isaac Bonga? Mo Wagner? Like, who's their best player? Who's their 3rd best player now? Nobody, because nobody is capable of being a 3rd best player. They all suck. So Bradley Beal deserves to be an all-star, deserves to be a starter. He is an all-star player. And I think the all-star game should have nothing to do with team performance. If it does. I have no idea if it does. I mean, I can kind of assume it does, because last year Devin Booker had to make it as a replacement when the Suns sucked, and Bradley Beal didn't even make it, and the Wizards sucked. So I think if the All-Star game is about team performance, I think that's ridiculous and dumb and shouldn't be. I think the All-Star game should showcase the absolute best players in the NBA. And Bradley Beal is one of the best players. One of the best players, I was going to say, if not the best, but I don't think he's the best. But one of the best players in the NBA. If you switch Bradley Beal and James Harden right now, and put Bradley Beal in the Nets, and put James Harden on the Wizards, I don't think the Wizards don't do any better. I don't think if you trade them straight up, I don't think the Wizards are any better of a team. I think they would still have 4 wins at this point, and I think the Nets may even be better. Well, I don't know, because James Harden's playmaking ability is insane, and Bradley Beal is more of a scorer, but at the same time, the Nets are still insane if you swap Bradley Beal and James Harden. They're still favorites to win the NBA Finals, guarantee that. And the Wizards are still probably favorites to win the lottery. So think about that. If you switch 2 players, one on a really bad team. If you switch the 2 best players on the worst team, the Wizards, and one of the best teams, the Nets, you switch their 2 shooting guards. The Nets are still finals contenders while the Wizards are still hunting for lottery picks. It's not Bradley Beal's fault, man. And all this trade him. He needs free Bradley Beal. I always think getting traded or requesting a trade is a cop-out thing to do, and he hasn't. He has actually publicly came out and said that he does not want to be traded from DC. He loves it there, and he wants to build a winner. Which, respect to that, for sure. Respect to that. But, all-star, he's an all-star. I don't know what else to say about it. He's an all-star. You know? And if he isn't, then that's just... Sorry, somebody honked. I was waiting for a big crash sound. And if you don't think he's an all-star, you're delusional. I don't understand. Because to me, an all-star game is not a team thing. It's an individual thing. You know, like Tom Brady said, that we don't play for Pro Bowls, we play for Super Bowls. It's because Pro Bowls are an individual thing. Deshaun Watson made a Pro Bowl as a quarterback who went 4-12. But that's because he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Same thing needs to happen with Bradley Beal. Just because their team sucks doesn't mean he's not one of the best NBA players in the league. And an all-star. He can only do so much, man. He's scoring a third or more of their points a game. How many points do the Wizards average? I don't want the team. Oh, I guess they do have Rui Hachimura still. Actually, I don't even know. Is he good? Like, bro, look at this. Thomas Bryant is their 3rd leading scorer. He hasn't even played. He's hurt. He played 10 games. And he's still their 3rd leading scorer. These dudes have been playing 12, 16 games, 13 games. Played 13 games, you average 3 points, bro. How? Like, how are you supposed to do that? Look at this. Oh my god. It's Bradley Beal everywhere. Points. Bradley Beal 35. Rebounds. Bradley Beal's leading his team in everything. Oh wait. No, he's not. Why did it do that? Why is it looking like that? Sorry. It has Bradley Beal on everything for some reason. I don't know why, even though Russell Westbrook averages twice as many rebounds as he does. I want team stats, ESPN. Well, while I look for this, we can start moving on to the Sunday games. Clippers-Knicks. Clippers beat the Knicks by 14 as Kawhi scored 28. The Nuggets dethroned the Jazz's 10-game win streak off of 47 points and 12 rebounds from Jokic. And actually, the Wizards are the 3rd highest scoring team in the NBA. So that's interesting. But they suck. They score 117 points. So, okay. He scores a quarter of their points. Basically, because a third of their points would be 105. No, not even. 140 would be a quarter of their points. 235. He scores a little bit under a third of their points. A third of their points. One player. one man scores nearly a third of your points. Kevin Durant's the second leading scorer at 31. Right? Yeah, 31. His team is the leading scoring team in the NBA at 122. 30-60. That's a quarter. He scores a quarter of their points. But he's got James Harden and Kyrie. James Harden, who also scores a lot of points. Maybe. Where's James Harden? There's no way James Harden averages under 20. Yeah, okay. James Harden right there. 25. Harden averages 25. The next best scorer on the Wizards is who? Well, it's Russell Westbrook, but how much? 20. 20 is their second leading scorer. And then 14 from a guy who has played half the season and is out for the rest of it, is still their second leading scorer. Ow. So, all this Bradley Beal stuff, disrespectful to him. He's an all-star starter. Man. And I respect him for wanting to play in DC, but hey, at the end of the day, that's up to him. Moving on from Bradley Beal, sorry, that conversation just made me lose brain cells while I was reading it. Just, like, I don't understand why. Like, why would an all-star team, why would an all-star appearance have to do with your team play? Why does it have to do with anything? The all-stars should just be the best players. And Bradley Beal's one of the best players. So he deserves to be an all-star. All right, the 76ers beat the Pacers by 9 without Joel Embiid off of 27 points from Tobias Harris, who also may be looking at an all-star appearance this year. He's been playing really well. He's their second leading scorer behind Joel Embiid. The Raptors beat the Magic on 30-10 from Pascal Siakam. Our second insane ending of the week was Wizards-Nets. The Nets were up by 5 with about 10 seconds to go. I don't know exactly. Bradley Beal dribbles up the court, drains a 3, knockdown with about 6 seconds left. I think it was, I don't know who inbounded it, made a bad pass. They stole the inbound, passed it to Westbrook, who hit a 3 to get the lead. Lead by 1. And they eventually ended up winning by 3 in that one. Westbrook had 41 points and 10 rebounds in that one, and Beal had 37. Kevin Durant also had 37, and Joe Harris had 30 points and shot 8 for 13 from the 3. Brooklyn had a 95.6% chance of winning with 12.6 seconds left. They were up 5 with 12.6 seconds left, and they lost. So crazy. The Timberwolves beat the Cavs by 5 off of 23 from Malik Beasley and Anthony Edwards. And Andre Drummond had 25 points and 22 rebounds for the Cavs. And going on to our last day of games, Monday, the Lakers beat the Hawks off of 25 points from Anthony Davis. The Hornets make a late comeback to beat the Heat in overtime off of an insane game from Malik Monk, who had 36 and shot 9 for 13 from 3, including the game-tying 3 with 0.6 seconds left. Malik Monk, man. He's a baller. You know, he was a baller in college. I had high hopes of him in the league. He kind of has just been a role player for most of it. I'm not mistaken, he's been in trouble, maybe, I think, for a couple times, for something. But yeah, 36 for him. He's had a breakout game, and maybe this will be looking to the future. I mean, look at the Hornets. Look at their guys. Malik Monk scored 36. Gordon Hayward's been playing really well. LaMelo Ball just scored 27 not too long ago and just got into the starting lineup in this game against the Heat, and he played really well. He's still kind of up there on the turnovers. You know, getting about 4 or 5 a game. And when he struggles to shoot, he struggles to shoot. He's just like Lonzo. When he struggles to shoot, he struggles. When he's on, he's on. But if it's a bad day, it's a bad day, man. And he's just going to shoot like 3 for 15 and 1 for 6 from 3. You know, it's a rough day. And we just got to take it. We can't. He's a 19, right? 20-year-old kid, something like that. Like, bro, come on. Anybody hating on this guy, you go try. You go try to play in the NBA. I bet you couldn't score 5 points in 30 minutes in an NBA game going 100% with everybody. No way. The Cavs beat the Timberwolves by 2 off of 26 points from Colin Sexton. The Bulls beat the Knicks off of 30 points from Lauri Markkanen, who's been actually destroying as of late. He had 36 against the Blazers in that buzzer beater loss, and 30 in this one, and he had a couple other 30-point games. So the Bucks destroy the Blazers. Drew Holiday had 22 points, and Bobby Portis had 21 points. And Nasir Little for the Blazers had 30 points for them. Dame only having 17, and Giannis. I don't even know how Giannis did in that one. The Kings beat the Pelicans off of 38 points from De'Aaron Fox. And 12 assists as well. He played really well. Giannis only had 18 in that game. Shot 8 for 11 though. He didn't play much minutes because they were up by 30 in like the third quarter. So they didn't need to play Giannis. They could just play Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday. And the Blazers were still getting clapped. The Rockets killed the Thunder by 30. Off of Eric Gordon had 25 off the bench, and John Wall and Christian Wood both had 18. The Suns beat the Mavericks by 1 off of a buzzer beater from Devin Booker, but it was Chris Paul who had 34 points to lead the Suns. And the Grizzlies, another game, as I was saying before, where their whole team just went crazy. No one guy really did it except... they had 9 players with 10-plus points. 9 players, all starting 5, and 4 players off the bench scored 10 or more. 1 player did not score 10, and it was John Conchar, who had 5, and he missed the 3. So, but 9 players with 10-plus. Gorgie Jang had 19. Tyus Jones had 14 assists and 11 points. And Brandon Clark had 18 points. Gorgie Jang had 19 points. He shot 3 for 3 from the 3-point range and shot 8 for 10 from the field itself. So, crazy game there from Gorgie. And the Grizzlies. 133, nobody scored 20 points. And before I started talking about standings, that kind of intrigues me to this topic, where I was looking up the most points scored in the highest differentials in NBA games and NFL games. I noticed something really crazy. That this game, the highest differential ever, 68. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Heat in 1991, 148 to 80. 148. The leading scorer for the Cavs was John Battle and Mark Price, and they had 18 points each. 150 points were scored, basically, and not one player scored 20. I just thought there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 players scored double figures in this one. I think like 2 or 3 more players played. But 8 players scored in double figures. And not one of them scored 20. It was 18 from Battle and 18 from Mark Price. Brad Daughtry had 17. Hot Rod Williams had 16. Henry James had 17. But 150 points were scored. And not one single player had 20. Which is insane. I thought that was crazy. Not one player had 20 and 148 points scored. And like here, the Grizzlies had 133. Not one player scored 20. Like Gorgie Jang had 19. But like, you go to like, you know, like this Bucks game, 2 players scored 20. And they scored 1 more point than the Grizzlies. You know, you have multiple players. You had 4 players in this game score 30 or more on either team, who one team scored 1 more point than the Cavs and the other didn't. They scored 2 less, but they each had 2 30-point players. I just thought it's like crazy how times change. You know, going from 1991 where a team scores 150 and nobody scores 20 points. Like Steve Smith on the Heat had 15. And that's like 3rd best, 4th best in the game. I just thought that was a cool little tidbit of that 148. Nobody scored 20. And in this one is also funny. The Bulls in 1999 scored the lowest amount of points ever in a game at 49. And against the Heat, which also was cool, who scored 82, and they scored 82 with Tim Hardaway having 22. So, and the Bulls obviously had two players in double figures, 10 and 13, scoring 49 points. But I thought it was interesting, and I also thought one thing was interesting was this 2008 game in Miami and Toronto, 54 points. Miami scored in 2008. 2008. I didn't actually look this one up. Why is it always Miami? It's always Miami Heat on all these. Like, dang, this was a Dwayne Wade team and they scored 50 points? Let's see. Who's it against? The Raptors. On the 19th of March. Okay, so it was the 2007-2008 season. Here for March. Where's that? There it is. All right. I'm gonna look at this box score real quick, then we'll move on. But yeah, 54 points to 96. They played 7 players total. Their starting 5, who did not include Dwayne Wade. Chris Quinn had 14. This was in 2008 against the Raptors. Bargnani, Chris Bosh had 8. Wow, this was just a bad game. This was a bad game. But yeah, 54. They were 12 and 55. Man, they sucked. They sucked ass. Where's their roster, bro? Shit, no, I want to go to this roster. Shaq? Old Shaq. But this was Shaq and Wade. Shaq, Wade, Alonzo Mourning, Sean Marion, Udon, younger Udon. Daquan Cook was even not bad. Wow, this team, 15 and 67. Sorry, they were 50. Wait a second. You're telling me they had the same amount of wins? Oh my god. Oh, they won like 3 games out of their last 15. Oh, 15 and 67, man. Wait, whoa. Is this a lockout season? No, because they played 82 games. How did they finish 5th? Dude, what is going on? I'm so sorry. But this is just intriguing. I'm gonna look into that after this podcast, or I'm gonna get way too crazy. Standings. We're not even gonna be able to really talk about the Super Bowl. It's been way too long. I mean, just looking at random stuff. Anyways, NBA standings. Eastern Conference. The Sixers are 1 at 15 and 6. The Bucks are 2. Nets are 3. Celtics, Pacers, Hawks, Cavs, and Hornets round out the top 8. Bottom 7, the Bulls, Knicks, Raptors, Magic, Heat, Pistons, and Wizards. The Heat struggling. Went to the NBA championship last year, 7 and 13 so far. As for the West, the Clippers are in control at 16 and 5. The Jazz are slowly creeping up behind them at 15 and 5. Then the Lakers at 3, Grizzlies at 4, even though they've only played 15 games and everybody else has played 20 plus. The Nuggets are 5. The Suns, Warriors, Blazers, Rockets all round out the Suns, Warriors, Blazers round out the top 8. And for the bottom 7, the Rockets, Spurs, Kings, Thunder, Mavericks, Pelicans, Timberwolves. So, Mavericks disappointing, Pelicans disappointing. Grizzlies stunning so far. I mean, they're 9 and 6 to take that 4th spot, so not crazy impressive. And yeah, I mean the Hawks, Cavs, Hornets. That's a cool little bottom 3 for the playoffs there. Obviously the Raptors and the Heat are struggling as of late in the beginning of the season, but they will look to pick it back up. Moving on to news. For NFL news, the Seahawks hired Shane Waldron as their offensive coordinator. He spent a lot of seasons with the Rams and has been their passing coordinator for the last 2 years. Jason Witten retires from the NFL officially after 17 seasons. He will sign a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys and officially retire. And he will go on to be the head coach of Liberty Christian High School in Texas, which is cool. So good for him, finding a little thing after football. More football. The Texans hired David Culley as their coach. Kind of surprising. Eric Bieniemy is will not get a head coaching job. I expect him probably just return as the Chiefs coordinator, and once coaches get fired next year, round 2. I'm very surprised he didn't get hired. I mean, he's the offensive coordinator of a team that's won the Super Bowl last year and now is going to a Super Bowl. Interesting, he didn't get chosen to be a coach. But David Culley, I've heard good things about this guy. I've heard that he definitely deserves to be a head coach. He was the Ravens' assistant coach for the past couple of years, and he's spent 27 years as an assistant coach in the NFL. So he's probably played or coached under some good talent. So I think he could be ready. He could be ready to do it. And the Texans also hired Lovie Smith as their defensive coordinator. Was fired by Illinois recent 6 months ago, or after 6 months with the team. They were very bad. And Lovie Smith is now Texans defensive coordinator. The Packers and their defensive coordinator, Mike Pettine, parted ways after 3 seasons. Last season, really good defense, top defense in the league. This season, they struggled in the playoffs, and that ultimately kind of led them to their loss against the Buccaneers, were defensive troubles. Kevin King getting burned on a lot of coverages, and just them not playing well. So Mike Pettine is gone, and there's defensive coordinator position open for the Packers. And for the last and probably biggest piece of news in the NFL this week, the Lions traded Matthew Stafford. Yep, Stafford is gone. Gone from Detroit. He is now going to play for the Rams. The Rams traded for him. For Jared Goff. It was not a straight-up deal. The Lions also got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. Interesting, Stafford, 32, almost 33. Actually turns 33 in 5 days on the 7th, which is cool. Threw 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last year, 4,100 yards. And the team was 5-10. With him as quarterback, they were 5-11 overall. So the one game he didn't play as quarterback, they lost. So, because that's a good thing. But yeah, I think this is a good trade for both teams. I think the Rams needed a veteran quarterback who can really push them over the edge, because they have a really good defense, if not the best. Their receivers are good. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee's a really good tight end. And now they got the young guy in Cam Akers. Now they got Matthew Stafford to come in and maybe push them over the edge for the playoffs. And the Lions get a young, good quarterback in Jared Goff to train and mold into this franchise QB. And they get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. So that all can be used to further their development in their team. Matt Patricia obviously parting ways with them, and then them hiring a new coach, the guy from the Saints. So I think the Lions are really trying to make moves and really trying to further this team for the future. And I think, and much I hate to say it, getting rid of Matthew Stafford was part 1, and they got a great deal for him. I thought they wouldn't get a quarterback back, and that was the biggest problem, because then you'd have David Blue coming in for quarterback next couple years, or drafting one. But they got Jared Goff, so now they don't have to use their draft picks on a quarterback. They can just use them on skill positions or defense or linemen, stuff like that. So I think that was a good trade for both teams. I think both teams benefit. And I think the Lions benefit more. They get the younger quarterback, more time for them to develop him, and they get picks, and they get a lesser contract, I think. Yeah, I'll take that 9 out of 10 times, unless Stafford was going crazy and we did well, but obviously it was not the case. Got a few pieces of other news. 2 baseball, which is crazy, and college football. For college football, Tennessee hired Josh Heupel as their coach. Obviously firing their former head coach after a very bad season this year. The St. Louis Cardinals acquired Nolan Arenado. I couldn't find what they got in return. I'm assuming probably some prospects, some picks. But they dump Arenado's $50 million contract. The Rockies dumped the contract onto the Cardinals, so the Cardinals are now paying him $50 million. I mean, he's a great player. I don't follow baseball, so I couldn't tell you what position he plays. I think he's an infielder. He's a third baseman or a shortstop? He's a third baseman. Okay, I knew he was a third baseman. One of the best third basemen. Yeah, one of the best third basemen. You know, top 6 in MVP voting last year. So he's definitely one of the better players. And yeah, so hopefully they got a decent package out of him. But that $50 million is a lot of money. And the Red Sox former player, Dustin Pedroia, officially retires. He's the 2008 MVP after winning the Rookie of the Year in 2007 and also a World Series champ his rookie year and in 2013. Good for him, man. When I did watch baseball, it was the Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, Red Sox baseball, baby. So, great career for him. Hall of Famer for sure. I don't really know how hard it is to get into the MLB Hall of Fame. It's super easy to get like in the NBA Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame. Maybe not NFL as much, but NBA, there's some dudes in there that's like, who? Average like 10 points. How is he in the Hall of Fame? But it's just nostalgia, guys. But yeah, like good career for Pedroia. And I mean, I wanted to leave some time for the Super Bowl. I got caught up in whatever the hell I was looking at up here. I'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll wrap it up. But Super Bowl's coming up. It's gonna be fun. Fun one. Tom Brady chasing his 7th in his 10th appearance. I'm obviously rooting for Brady. He's one of my favorite. He's my favorite football player of all time. From my favorite team of all time. Well, formerly from my favorite team of all time. Brought us many Super Bowls, many playoff appearances, many championship games. So, whatever happens, happens. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he is the future GOAT, for sure. I think if anybody has what it takes to pass Tom Brady, it's him. Will he? I don't know. If Mahomes keeps putting up the numbers he does, he'll break all the passing records. He'll break them all. Chasing Brady's rings is going to be difficult. It's 6 rings. If Mahomes wins this one, he's got 2 already in 3 years, which is good. So that'll put a fast track on his catching of Brady. But if Brady wins, it's not only bad for Mahomes, it's bad for the league because he's going to come back. If he wins, he's definitely coming back. If he loses, he'll probably come back and be pissed and have some vengeance. But if he wins, he's going to come back and he's going to want to go again. He's like, oh, that was fun. I want to do it again. Super Bowl for a different team? Let's win 6 with the Bucks, baby. That'd be crazy. He wins 6 with the Patriots and then he goes to the Bucks and wins 6 with them. I don't even know if he's going to play for 6 more years. He said he would like to play till he's 45 or into his 45s. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fun game. I definitely think it's going to be close. It's going to be back and forth, I feel like. It's going to be down to the defenses because these offenses are so prolific and so good. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, Gronk, Chris Godwin. Their offensive line is good. Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. And then you got the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Demarcus Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams. All these dudes, they got a good O-line too. They're such good teams offensively that it's going to come down to the defense. And they both got good defenses, but the Bucks defense is really good. Their secondary has not backed down from a challenge. And, whether it was playing against the Saints or playing, Michael Thomas, and then going on and playing against the Packers with one of the best quarterbacks ever in Aaron Rodgers and one of the best receivers this year, Davante Adams. They pretty much locked them down. And so now you're going against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now with one of the most prolific offenses ever. So it's going to come down to defense. It's going to come down to defense and what quarterback makes a mistake, which these quarterbacks both don't make very many mistakes. So it's going to be a very defensive-minded. Whoever makes the stop, man. Whoever gets the stops. If your defense can make a stop and your offense can go and score, I sound like Booger McFarland, but you're going to win, obviously. But it's more than that, if the Bucs stop Mahomes and their offense, that doesn't only take the wind out of their sails and kind of slows their momentum if they had any, but then it gives your offense and Tom Brady a chance to further your momentum and further a lead. And, maybe that's going into halftime when you get the ball back. Or maybe that's going into the fourth quarter where it's crunch time and now you're up 7. Or you're up 14 and Patrick Mahomes has a 2-score deficit to come back from. So, yeah, it's just going to be up to defense, man. That's all there really is to it. It's going to be up to the defense to either team's defense to step up and make a stop, and whoever can get that stop is going to have a good chance at winning this game, because it's going to be a very back and forth game. I think that's going to do it for the podcast number 27, hour 10ish. Just no football to talk about, but a lot of basketball. We got into basketball pretty good. And a little bit of Super Bowl talk. I wish I could have got a little bit more than I did, but I gave you a few words of my time. That didn't make any sense at all. A few words about the Super Bowl and what I think is going to go down. I haven't gave a prediction, huh? Or did I? Did I last time? I think I said the Bucs are going to win by like 3 or something. I don't know. But it'll be a fun game. And I will report to you guys the score and my opinion on the game when it happens next Tuesday, baby. So, yep. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys so much. That's crazy that anybody's really listening or watching or caring about this, but this is awesome. I just have fun every time doing this, and just imagining somebody listening to it is just so cool. So, yeah, just be sure to, remember to like and subscribe. Really helps me out. It's free. And helps me out a ton. But, yeah, like and subscribe. Check out links in the description for my Instagram, Twitter. I have a YouTube that I do gaming on with my friends that I would like to kind of shout out. So that's all in the description. Also, the other ways of listening to this podcast are also in the description, just in case you want a different way of listening. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much again, and everybody take it easy. Peace.